May I come in, sir?
Come on, come on.
Thank you.
This is
Good morning, sir.
Sanket.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
So, Sanket,
Yes, sir.
currently you are in railways, engineering services.
Yes, sir.
Great. What about job has been assigned to you there?
Sir, currently I am posted as an assistant workshop manager in a carriage repair workshop. This workshop undergoes the PUH, like maintenance activities of the passenger coaches, the both LHB and ICF. Sir.
But you entered through engineering services
Yes, sir.
examination. So, are you satisfied there?
Yes, sir. The work is very much challenging and diverse that any candidates fire for. So I believe I'm satisfied there.
Yes, okay,
Yes,
good. Now, I will just like to ask you a very small question.
sir.
You might have read in the newspapers for last 3-4 days because of the riots happening in Delhi,
Sir.
criminal riots. Is great lack of trust in police now. There is a perception gap.
Yes, sir.
Why, even after 75 years of independence,
Sir.
we have not been able to change this situation? Why don't we have confidence in our police that police is there to protect us and they will side with the right thing? Why has it happened in our country?
Sir, I would beg to differ a little on this topic, sir. That situation has changed a lot, but at few places there are some perceptions against the police department, and that is mostly because of lack of training. Like the police personnel's interaction with the people is a point of issue, and also the police personnel strength is very low. That creates delay in the investigations and other law and order activities. So that creates a mistrust among the people, and which results in the slight the gap between the connectivity of the.
If you consider it slight, tell me,
Sir.
Can you send your sister,
Sir.
or mother,
Sir.
To any police station in the evening to lodge some complaint? Will you do it?
Yes, sir. I will do it, sir.
You have this confidence in police?
Yes, sir. They are here to protect us, and we have to show the confidence. Only then we can expect that thing from them as well. If we will show the distrust among them, then definitely we can't expect anything in return.
So the basic question here is,
Sir.
Then why this mistrust? If this is a situation that they are there to help us,
Sir.
Right? Then why there is such a great amount of mistrust?
Sir, this is because of the political nexus with the police officials and their connections to the mafias, and then definitely the lack of strength, which creates deficit in the expectation of the people in a law and order. And
forget about the strength.
Sir.
Talk about a single person. Single person he reaches to lodge some complaint in police station.
Sir.
Based on our experience of 40 years,
Sir.
I can tell you, there is not a single person I have found in my life,
Sir,
who was very much at ease in the police station.
So this is mostly, this could be attributed to the training deficit with the police personnel, that they are not trained in a repeated or periodically to how to engage with the people, since the aspirations of the people are increasing, but simultaneously the police personnel are not being trained adequately. So I will say this is one of the reason, and also they are very much burdened with their day-to-day activities. So these could be, and the lack of motivation and the dull work culture. So these few factors could be attributed to such behavior.
Okay. Now, just tell me only one thing which basically intrigues me a lot. In our country,
Sir,
we find that the income gap between the people is now widening.
Sir.
The constitution says that there will be better distribution of income.
Sir.
On the other hand, it is happening in negative direction. Sir. It means we are now moving away from the constitution.
Sir, as Oxfam report has also highlighted that the inequality is widening in the country. Actually, the current growth paradigm that has been designed is limited to the urban spaces. But once it gets saturated, so definitely it will trickle down to the other places also. And government is continuously trying to bring more inclusivity to the development aspect. by promoting sunrise industries like food processing sectors in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and parallelly also they are focusing on smart infrastructure in those tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
So do you think by then,
sir,
the poor people,
sir,
in this process, poor people
sir,
and very small businesses will be able to survive that long?
definitely for that transition period, government needs to provide a external or extra support to these MSMEs and the poor farmers. For this,
Not farmers, poor people.
poor
Number
people
of
definitely also,
unemployment,
sir.
number of
Sir.
unemployed
Yes, sir.
is increasing.
Yes, sir.
And the definition of employment, do you know what is the definition of employment?
Yes, sir.
What?
So those who are able to and willing to do the work but are not getting the job.
No.
Sir.
Even if they are not able to get 1 hour paid job per week,
Sir.
so even with this definition, the number of unemployed is so high.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for
Right.
correcting me, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, one of your hobbies is solo biking.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir, in solo bike riding, generally I travel alone on the bike, not with the friends or families.
So travel for long distances or what?
Yes, sir.
Intercity,
Sir, interstate also I have traveled, sir.
interstate also.
Yes, sir.
Is biking a sport? Any sport events based on biking?
Yes, sir. There are some events related to the hill adventure biking, like riding the bike over the mountains. So this is one of the adventure sport. Another one is
Can you
racing.
name any popular sporting event on bike
Sorry, sir, that I'm not able to recall.
held in India?
Sorry, sir, that I'm not able to recall, sir.
Achha, okay, no problem. In the case of government schools,
Yes, sir.
whenever any assessment is done by NGOs like ASER report or something, they say that the learning outcomes of the children are very poor in
Sir.
English and mathematics particularly.
Sir.
And you must have read one of such reports.
Yes, sir.
You must have experienced it too. Huh?
Sir.
Now, what can be done to remedy this? What are your ideas about it?
Sir, if we will consider the challenges, then automatically solutions will come up in this regard, because there is a significant amount of teacher shortage. So we need to recruit the teachers in a very short span, and we need to give them adequate training to how to teach the students. First thing is that,
Well, teacher shortage, if you talk about, generally the pattern is that in the cities, teachers are full, more
Sir.
than full strength.
yes, sir.
In the rural areas, yes,
Yes, sir.
there are shortages.
Sir.
But the ASER report, I think, doesn't distinguish between rural and urban areas. Maybe a notch here, a notch better in urban areas, but still,
Yes, sir.
it is very poor.
In definitely, sir, in rural areas, the teacher strength is very less, and even the teachers which are there, their quality of providing the education is not up to the mark, and also they are always engaged in some other activities like.
No, I am asking about the remedial solutions that come to your mind.
So, sir, freeing up the teachers from these extra activities, then focusing on the infrastructure of the schools. Like currently, let me take example of the Bihar. Even in the Bihar itself, there are too many primary schools, and as a result, there is a crisis of teachers and the appropriate infrastructure. So, if we can merge those schools into the lesser one without impacting the accessibility of the students, so that will lead to the enhancement in the quality of the education of the students. And also, we have to incentivize or ensure the enrollment of the students by focusing on midday meal scheme, and by extending the Maganrega scheme to those vulnerable sections from where we can see the withdrawal of the students from the schools. So that will ensure the student continue their education. So that will remedy, as according to me, sir, that will remedy the education sector.
Has the new education policy of 2020 said something on this issue?
So they have emphasized on having the school complexes from where student enrolled in a initial classes will continue to stay in that school. So that will ensure
That is merging preschool and school education.
yes, sir.
Yes.
And also focusing on the primary schools. So these are a few aspects, sir.
Well, let's go to another area now. Tell me which agencies are responsible for dealing with corruption in the country, in the
Sir,
government sector.
sir, it's a CBI and CVC.
That's all.
And other departments are also there,
Like?
like ED that deals with corruption in case of money laundering and other things.
And
So this is all I can recall right now, sir.
you heard of SFIO?
Yes, sir.
No.
Corporate frauds, in case of
That is
corporate
for
frauds.
corporate frauds.
Yes, sir.
And at the state level, who deals with it?
Sorry, sir, that I'm not aware of, sir.
In Bihar?
The police department deals with the primary investigation, but they don't handle corruption cases.
There is a specialized separate agency
So that I'm
in
not.
every state.
Yes, sir.
And what about Lokpal and Lokayukt?
Yes, sir. They
Yeah.
are. Yes, sir. They are also there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Sanket, now you are with the railways. So, can you tell me what is the mechanical principle behind these super fast trains, TGV, train à grand vitesse? Those trains which run at 500, 600 kilometers an hour.
Sir, and that is based on a maglev or magnetic leviation principle, sir.
Mhm.
What happens is that in both tracks and the wheels, opposite nature of the magnetic fields are created, and when train is initially propelled to some higher speed or a threshold speed, then what happens at that speed, the trains get lifted off the track, just few millimeters off the track. So this reduces the friction, and as a result, we have a very higher speed. So this is how
So,
the
train is actually flying, it's not on the track.
yes, sir. It's not on the track, sir. It's little a millimeter above the track, sir.
Okay, is it true for all the coaches? That it is all the time slightly 1 or 2 millimeters above the track?
Sir, all the as far as I can recall, sir, it's for all the coaches, sir. But I will definitely go and confirm,
Okay,
sir.
okay, check on that.
Okay, sir.
Now, Financial Commission is set up every 5 years.
Sir,
What is the provision under which it is set up, and what are its principal functions?
sir, it is mandated under the constitutional article 280. It has a mandate of establishing the proceeds between the center and the states and between the states. Also to provide grant and aids to the state in case of deficit in revenue grants, and to ensure the adequate financial devolution to the panchayat bodies as well, panchayat and urban bodies.
So,
as
which
well,
are the
sir.
taxes which are covered under this mandate?
Sir,
Like
except
GST is already divided between the center and the state.
Yes,
There's a
sir.
very clear mandate. So,
Sir.
basically, GST is
Sir.
not the subject of Financial Commission. So, what are the taxes?
Sir, even in the GST, the component that goes to the center is also being distributed under this, and the other excise duties that are being levied on the exempted components of the GST, like alcohol or fuel. So these are also under the proceeds.
But
While
that
cess and
excise
surcharge are
duty-
exempted from this proceeds.
That excise duty is levied by.
Sorry, sir, that I.
So, what are the specific taxes that are subject to the Commission's mandate?
So the part in the GST that goes to the center is the CGST component, and the other tax like custom duties, which is being levied by the center on the imported products. So these are the components, sir.
What
There
about
are few other components as
what
well,
about
sir.
corporate tax?
Yes, sir. Corporate tax also.
What about income tax?
Sir,
Okay. What are the occasions when the central government can legislate on a state subject?
sir, there are few instances when central government can legislate over a state subject. First is when Rajya Sabha passes a resolution by special majority that subject in a state list should be legislated by the central government. if there is a obligation of implementation of some international convention, then also. Next, if two or more than two states collectively passes a bill telling that the particular subject needs a legislation from the center, then it can be shifted to their.
It has to be two or more states. Is that so? Single state cannot.
No, sir. No single state cannot do this, sir.
Okay. Now the BRICS summit will be held in China.
Yes, sir.
There was some news report that PM is also participating. It will be held virtually. So, is it correct on our part to participate in the BRICS summit when we have such a complex, issue on our border with China?
Sir, I believe that border skirmishes, whatever the border disengagement should be done in first hand, but also parallelly we need to establish other relations from the China, because anyhow by alienation from the China we are not on the benefit side, and so I believe the Prime Minister should attend the meeting to establish the relation with the China, so we can get benefits in the economic domain and other domains as well.
So on the one hand, we allow Chinese to take our land. On the other hand, we continue to do business with them.
Sir, already 14 round of negotiations have been done, and many points of contentions have been resolved already. And India recently said that if at the PP 15 point, if disengagement occurs, then we are ready to talk. And this PP 15 is already in a discussion phase, so I believe it will soon be resolved. So parallelly, India should start the other forms of other dimensional negotiations with the China, sir.
Okay, my last question is that since you are already very happy in your current job, why do you want to join another service in the civil service category?
Sir, definitely I'm happy in my job, but it's the degree of the innovation and challenges that the civil service will offer me, because in railways, no, undoubtedly there are many challenges, but degree at which we face in the civil services, like every day you get to meet new people, that does not happen in railways. Every day you get to witness a new set of challenges, totally different set of challenges, where you have to be innovative, and where continuously you have to keep on working in order to improve your mental strength and to solve the people issues. Also, you will get a chance to come closer to the society, so you will be able to learn how the society functions. So these are the things that inspired me to join the civil service.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Now, can you tell us actually what are the ways
Sir.
a civil servant comes closer to the society? In which capacity?
Sir,
1, 2, 3, like.
okay, sir. First will be in the implementation of a policies. Like as a field officer, you definitely have to understand the different type of sections and communities in the society exist.
Field officer means what? At what level you will be working?
Sir, at the junior level, up to administrative grade, sir, junior administrative grade, JAG level.
But at what level you will be functioning?
Sorry, sir.
At what level you will be working?
Sir, from junior scale.
Designation wise.
Okay. Sir, as
Assignment.
a,
Where the headquarters?
sir, as
So
a,
where you will be working?
sir, in a district headquarters, sir.
Which district headquarters?
Or in a block, or at a block level,
Block.
as a SDM or ADM, sir.
Block level.
I'm not sure on the block level, sir, but at a district headquarter level, I'm sure in all India services, sir.
But this is not actually what you mentioned.
Sir.
This is not the grassroots level.
Okay.
To implement the scheme.
Sorry, sir.
Then tell us something else. This is number 1. Number 2.
Sir, while listening to the grievances of the people, you come in direct contact with the people, so you get to understand their challenges and how this is happening in the field, in real situation. So this is another way of interaction.
Give example of one grievance which you would like to redress and people will be coming to you.
Sir, health problems, I will This
You
is
go
a
to
serious concern
hospital.
anywhere, so I will definitely
Health
focus upon
actually
it.
they will go to hospital. They will not come to you.
Sir, in a grievances, if they are going to the hospital and their problems are not being
No, no,
held properly,
there's a
then
good doctor actually there.
yes,
He
sir.
will address the problem.
Sir. And definitely also it will come like the infrastructure bottlenecks in the hospitals. So you can ensure the proper implementation of those things.
How you will ensure actually infrastructural issues in your hospital?
Sir, by proper accountability fixation.
You have no role actually. You can't fix the accountability of health department officials.
Okay, sir.
You have no power.
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir. I will go and read on this part, sir.
Okay. Now you just mentioned about Oxfam report.
Yes, sir.
Oxfam was in the news
Yes, sir.
recently.
Okay, sir.
Are you aware what were the issues?
Sir, in recent context, I'm not aware of that. I read that.
Any idea?
No, sir.
It is related to FCRA.
Okay, sir.
No clue.
No, sir. Actually, I've not read that. That's why.
Because you were actually mentioning about Oxfam, that's why I asked this question.
Okay, sir. Actually, that report was about the.
No, I'm not asking about
Okay,
the
sir.
report. I'm asking about the issues actually they were having with the central government.
Okay, sir. I will go and read, sir.
Now we have a prohibition in Bihar.
Yes, sir.
It's your home state and you have given choice also.
Yes, sir.
Can we say that this prohibition policy is successful in Bihar?
Sir, as per the government reports, it has shown that it is successful as the domestic violence cases and also the other.
You are from Bihar.
Sir.
You are opting for Bihar.
Sir.
It will be your home state. I am asking about some policy,
Yes, sir.
whether it is successful or not. Your views.
Sir. Sir, my personal views that it has the negative side of this policy is more than its positive side because it has.
I have asked only whether it is successful or not.
Sir, according to me, it's not successful, sir.
Reasons why it is not successful?
Sir, reasons is it has led to the parallel rise of the illegal sales of the liquor and also.
Okay, that is number one.
Sir.
Then what else?
And rise in a crime instances as reported by the Bihar Crime Police Department.
Okay, number three.
Next is, sir, enforcement issues. Like already in a police department, manpower crunch is there.
Okay.
And now you have to additionally enforce the prohibition.
Okay, then what else?
Sir, increase in a petty and organized crimes as well.
That is okay, you have already covered.
Yes,
then
sir.
Next.
Sir, the potential revenue has also been
loss
reduced.
of revenue you are not
Yes, sir.
mentioning.
Okay, sir.
And the last one?
Sorry, sir. That's all I can remember, sir, right now.
Just imagine actually. The lakhs of cases are filed. The charge sheets are
Yes, sir.
filed, then what will be the result?
Sir, delay in a judicial pendency.
Overburdening
of the
judicial
cases, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sanket, from technology to
Yes,
civil
ma'am.
services.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, how will you apply technology as a civil servant for the welfare of the people, particularly robotics, because you've shown interest in robotics?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say in case of agriculture.
Ma'am, in agriculture, robotics has a vast potential, like use of drones for spraying of the pesticides, use of drone for spraying of the fertilizers. Also, we can deploy smart robotics management for better utilization of water in the fields, so that will reduce the water consumption.
How water?
Like SCADA systems can be deployed to monitor what is the required level of
So
water in the
basically
field.
monitoring.
And then
yes.
accordingly allowing the water to
Crop
go in
and
the
soil
field.
monitoring, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And others will be, ma'am, use of automated tractors and machinery in the field so that they can rapidly harvest the field. So
Yeah,
these
yeah,
are the few potential
yeah.
areas, ma'am.
What about the supply chain? Will
I mean,
that
the
be
supply
affected?
chain, definitely this has potential, like in where
Positive, negative?
use of robotics.
Yeah.
Ma'am, definitely it will have a positive.
Positive. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So real-time data analysis.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. You have also given swimming as one of your extracurricular activities.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you name an animal which can stay underwater for 6 days without coming up on the surface?
Sorry, ma'am, I'm not able to recall the exact name, but I believe benthic organisms that live deep underwater are able to survive within the water for a very long period of time.
Without coming up on the surface?
Yes, ma'am.
Very simple. A scorpion.
Okay, ma'am.
A scorpion, though it is, not a reptile, it can stay underwater for almost 6 days without coming up to breathe. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Now, there is a rising trend in Bihar for opting for civil services. Earlier, it used to be maybe the Kerala, then Odisha, now maybe Bihar. Why? What is the reason for an attraction towards the civil services?
Ma'am, it's first, ma'am, I will like to differ a little, ma'am. Like, it's not just a civil service, it's all the government jobs. Basically, everyone is opting for all the government jobs. The reason is lack of employment opportunities in the Bihar itself. And then also society of the Bihar has been constructed in the way that everyone desires for a little status in the society, and that they believe it's the government services is the root of this. So this is the reason.
So basically, you're joining the civil service for status.
No, ma'am.
That's what you said just now.
That's the society in general, but
What is
it
your
cannot.
reason? What is your reason for coming to the civil services?
It's the.
Because you are a qualified person.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
already have a good job.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the reason for coming to civil services?
Because, ma'am, as you have mentioned the status point, because I'm already
No,
in
you
a.
mentioned status.
Yes, ma'am. As I mentioned the status, actually, I'm already in a Group A service, so status is not the thing which I want to hear. It's the degree of a challenges and the impact that I can
So
do to the
what is
people.
just 1 to 3 challenges which you foresee?
Ma'am, like handling the disaster management in the in the district or in a.
But that's once in a while, and
Yes,
let's hope and pray disasters don't strike the society. What else?
Ensuring the proper law and order is also a
That's
very.
police,
Yes, ma'am. So as a
which is, I think, your third option, or the second
second, ma'am.
option. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And also you have to ensure the proper education and proper health facilities or schemes that are there are being implemented in your district. So this is also a challenge, and like pursuing the
What is
people.
the challenge? I'm asking, what is the challenge which you are foreseeing? I'm not saying it's a challenge. It is a challenge.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the challenge?
In education sector, ma'am,
Any sector.
it's about pursuing the people to do what is right, because generally what happens is everyone is very much resistive to the change, but in order to implement any scheme
But if
that
the change is for their betterment, they understand very well.
so sometimes resistance come from their side, so in order to implement it we have to work upon this to mitigate the resistance, so that becomes
Okay.
a challenging
My
part.
last question is,
Thank you, ma'am.
what happens on social media should remain on social media. Do you agree? I'll elaborate further. Because the violence on social media is also translating into action on the ground.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what are your views on that? And why should it happen and why it shouldn't happen?
Ma'am, there are some definitely it has led to the violence as well.
So, you agree what happens on social media is translating into reality?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, in this context, I would like to say a proper monitoring mechanism should be there. We should not just restrict it that what happens on a social media should stay in the social media only, because sometimes it is being used for the positive aspects also, like disseminating information and some guidelines
So, if the
implementation.
information is spread violence, how do you handle that?
In that context, ma'am, the IT cell of the government should come into picture to avoid such spread of the news, and also the social media platforms
so
that are.
what do you suggest? Curbing the media, bringing in laws?
Ma'am, proper monitoring system should be there, both from the social media platforms. They should
Okay, you
take
got
the
the
slow.
information.
Yes, ma'am.
Then what?
And in this case, it has to be ensured that if it is a rumor-based information, then it should not spread. And the person who has initially put it on the social media should be caught or given a adequate
Fake
trial.
news, paid news.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely, all
Yeah,
these
read a
components
little
which
bit on
lead
that
which
also.
incite the violence, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Wait outside.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Better, Sanket.
Thanks.
Your interview was very good. We highly appreciate the way you were speaking, the demeanor you expressed, right? And the confidence you had in you. They are very appreciable.
Thank you, sir.
And you have very good chances of going ahead. But for that, we want to suggest few things to you.
Yes, sir.
Number one, you should remember that this interview is basically for examining your aptitude,
Sir.
not knowledge at all. Right?
Yes, sir.
So, what is the aptitude? Aptitude means how much you are suitable to become a civil servant.
Sir.
That is what is being examined.
Yes, sir.
It means, in other words, we want how truthful you are to the situations, to yourself.
Yes, sir.
Both the things. In civil services interview, the basic emphasis was always on knowing the person. We should not get impression that you are trying to cover up certain things, or you are taking extreme stands. You should always try to move on a middle path. It means you should talk about positivities, you should talk about negative points, and then give your own opinion
Okay, sir.
so that you are not stuck up.
Sir.
So now, when the questions are asked from you, initially you are good at answering.
Yes, sir.
Later on, when we start digging the knowledge, you immediately go back.
Sir.
You go back. This is happening because you are trying to cover up few things artificially.
Okay, sir.
So this should not be done. Whatsoever is your truthful opinion,
Yes, sir.
whatsoever you actually think, should be expressed. ये ध्यान रखना. Otherwise, this will mar your chances substantially. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So, for example, if Madam was asking about social media,
Sir.
there is no need of coming to a point when you don't have any answer. Number two, when she was asking about why are you interested in coming to the civil services, outrightly she said, you should have said, if you really think, seriously think it, that is for reputation, yes, I want to come to enhance my reputation in the society. It's okay, nothing bad in it.
Okay,
So
sir.
that should be your real opinion.
Yes, sir.
In my question, the police, when
Sir.
you said that I will not be hesitant in sending my sister, and that's a wrong statement. Because in this country, no one will ever do it.
Sir.
I'm so confident, based on my 40 years of experience, I can tell you
Yes, sir.
that there will be not a single person, forget about you,
Yes, sir.
even if you decide, as we were discussing, your sister and your mother, they will refuse.
Yes, sir.
Even if you try to pursue them, they will refuse going to the police station alone and lodging complaint. So these type of stands should not be taken, because the board will think that it is artificially making up. Whether you are making or not is not clear, but this will be the impression which will go,
Okay, sir.
and this should not happen.
But sir, in that police wala question, sir, if I would have rejected that I will not send, then it would have a counter of what I have said earlier.
Counter. So initial, from very initial. That's what we are saying. So whenever the secondary questions are put,
Yes,
then you are at the back seat. Initially you are okay, but as soon as we start probing, then you are lost.
Okay.
So initially, from the very beginning, you should take a stand which is not extreme and which is not far away from the reality. We had one candidate here. When we asked the question that what is happening to the lady sarpanch in your place, in your village, she was from a village. She simply said that her husband is functioning as sarpanch.
Yes, sir.
There's no need of hiding the things, because then it shows that you are very close to reality and you are trying to explore the society. That's what we want in a civil servant.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, how will you explore the people in the villages who are suffering? You will always make an image,
Yes, sir.
and you will never be able to resolve their grievances.
Okay, sir.
You will never be able to hear anything against police. Oh no, they have a shortage of staff, so they have not been able to do this. So that will destroy your image. So people, instead of developing trust in you, will start detesting you.
Okay, sir.
It's very important for civil services interview, because we are not checking your knowledge. Remember it. That has already been checked in written examination.
Yes, sir.
Here it is your aptitude which is being checked.
Okay, sir.
Do you have any question in this regard?
So in that police question, like you have asked that there's a distrust among the people towards the police. So it cannot be said exactly like yes, there is a distrust.
No,
among
don't agree with it. Don't. This was my statement. That's why I said
Yes,
this
sir.
is the thing. What you say.
Yes, sir.
This would have been your opinion.
Okay, sir.
Then you should have formed your opinion. We should not have been very extreme, and which is far away from the reality. You should have taken a stand, even if you are thinking that they have problems. So you should have considered their problems. But by and large, why this legacy is still continuing?
Yes, sir.
Why police has not become a helpful force?
Sir.
This is a fact. Why shouldn't they become helpful force to the society? That should have been your starting point. Then whatsoever you would have spoken would have given you a big strength. So whenever you are starting answers,
Yes, sir.
before starting the answer, you stop for some time. Think in your mind, structure the answer, and then start speaking. There is no need of immediately starting and immediately speaking something. There's no need.
Yes, sir.
You will wait, and the waiting is not bad at all. Because if you get good responses,
Sir.
after some gap in your brain, you are thinking something of that sort, you shall be happy.
Okay, sir.
It's very important point, because all other qualities are very good in you.
Okay, sir.
So these things should not deter you from securing what you deserve.
Okay, sir.
Okay? Any other question?
When is your interview?
Sir, 9th May.
9th May.
Yes, sir.
The time is there. Anything else you have in your mind?
So, sir, in that opinionated question itself, if I'm making the opinion, then definitely there are certain negative sides of this as well.
Both the things you should give.
You should
So I
state
should
both the
present both the
positive
sides.
and
Both the
negative,
positive
and
and
then you
negative.
put your views.
Start with positive side always.
Yes.
Okay.
And then give negatives. There are some, don't say the negative. Say, and I feel that there are certain deficiencies which I want to point out.
Okay.
It should be very polite presentation of the negatives.
So the prohibition in Bihar has not failed.
Sir.
There are deficiencies, you
Yeah,
said,
there are
something like this.
deficiencies.
Yes,
Which
that
we have to correct.
successful was a tricky part. Like
Ah.
the questions are whether
You should not have taken
No,
that
he
as
should
well.
never fall in that trap. He wanted to trap you in saying one word, successful or unsuccessful.
Sir.
Never fall into this trap.
Okay.
Because if you say successful, then also you are trapped,
Yeah.
and
Yes, sir,
unsuccessful, then also you are trapped.
Yes,
So
sir.
you take your stand by your this thing. It has both positive and negative sides. It is partly successful, partly not.
Okay, sir.
Then what you need to do, because you have some time available
Yes, sir.
with you, you take down few things which I want to advise you. One, go for last 3 issues of diplomat magazine, especially on issues which relate to India. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Then second is down to earth. February, March, and April issues. Again, the issues related to India.
Okay, sir.
Specific articles on that. Then third is economic and political weekly. February and March issues. And on the top of it, you should try to going for last 6 episodes of Cut the Clutter by Shekhar Gupta on YouTube.
Okay, that wire, the
The
print.
Print.
Cut the Clutter.
You should also revise constitution because your knowledge on that is lacking.
Yes, actually, I have not revised it.
You have to revise
I
that.
will definitely read, sir.
That is
Then
must.
then you need to go in for. We have prepared in Unacademy
Yes, sir.
certain important issues for the interview
Okay, sir.
in detailed manner, in depth.
Sir.
So you can take the electronic copy.
Okay,
They
sir.
will transfer it to you,
Sir.
and those will be very, very useful to
Okay.
make your opinion.
Sure, sir.
Okay,
Sir.
that's all.
Can I add, sir?
Yes, sir, why not?
Revise your grammar.
Okay.
The China, the Bihar, the Patna, particularly the usage of articles a and the. It is very jarring to the ear when you repeatedly said the China, the Bihar. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
just have a look at the articles. And secondly, when you get into a trap question,
Okay, ma'am.
say these are the positives, these are the negatives, and we are working in that direction to reach that level.
Okay.
Okay, that's a very safe answer that we are midway and we are working towards that.
Okay.
And when you said that it enhances my status, on that say, I mean, if you're stuck in a position like that, I would handle it. Yes, it will enhance my status because I have these qualities. And I will use these qualities to bring about this change.
Okay,
So you have to choose every word very carefully. And as the chairperson said, before you rush to answer any question, take a pause, take a
Okay.
deep breath, 1, 2, 3, and then start. So you'll not be stuck in these awkward situations.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay?
Thank
When
you,
is
ma'am.
your interview? 9th May, you
Ninth
said.
All the very best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.